Real Talk English.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Real Talk English, Health Talk, where we break down important health topics in everyday English. I'm Alex.
And I'm Ben. Today, we're diving into something that affects literally every single one of us: sleep. More specifically, we're asking the question, do you really need 8 hours of sleep every night?
This is something I've always wondered about. I mean, everywhere you look, health articles, doctors, even my fitness app, they all tell me I need exactly 8 hours of sleep. But some nights, I feel great after just 6 hours, while other times even 9 hours doesn't feel like enough.
That's exactly why we need to talk about this. There's so much sleep advice out there that it can actually cause more stress than help. And ironically, stressing about sleep is one of the worst things for, well, sleep.
So true. Just last night, I was checking my sleep tracker before bed, saw that my sleep score hasn't been great this week, and suddenly I was lying awake worrying about not getting enough sleep.
That's the perfect example of what experts are now calling orthosomnia.
Ortho, what now?
Orthosomnia. It's a relatively new term describing an unhealthy obsession with achieving perfect sleep. Basically, people get so fixated on sleep metrics and hitting that magical 8-hour target that they actually develop anxiety about sleeping, which, surprise, surprise, makes sleep even worse.
That sounds exactly like what happens to me. But wait, if 8 hours isn't necessarily the magic number, then what is?
Here's the thing. There isn't one universal magic number. Sleep researchers now recognize that sleep needs vary significantly from person to person.
So when health organizations recommend 7 to 8 hours, what they're really giving is an average?
Exactly. It's like saying the average person is 5 feet 9 inches tall. That doesn't mean everyone should be that height, right? Some adults naturally need 9 hours to feel their best, while others genuinely function perfectly on 6 hours.
That's actually really reassuring. So how do you figure out what your personal sleep needs are?
Great question. Instead of obsessing over a specific number of hours, sleep experts suggest asking yourself these 3 simple questions.
I'm all ears.
First, do you feel generally well rested throughout the day?
Okay, that makes sense.
Second, do you typically sleep through the night? Or if you wake up, can you fall back asleep easily?
And the third question?
Can you stay awake during the day without accidentally dozing off during meetings or while watching TV?
So if I answer yes to all of these questions, I'm probably getting enough sleep, even if it's not exactly 8 hours.
You got it. The quality of your sleep and how you feel during the day are much better indicators than just counting hours.
That's so liberating. I've been making myself feel guilty for years because I usually only need about 6.5 hours to feel good.
Exactly. And that's the problem with all these sleep trackers and apps that are becoming so popular.
Speaking of which, I think about 1 in 5 Americans are using some kind of sleep tracking device now, right?
Yes, and that number is growing fast. Don't get me wrong, these devices can be helpful for spotting patterns, but they also have some serious limitations.
Like what?
Well, for starters, most consumer sleep trackers aren't actually very accurate at measuring sleep stages. They might tell you that you only got 12% deep sleep when experts say you need 25%, and suddenly you're worried about something that might not even be true.
I've definitely experienced that. My tracker sometimes tells me I was awake when I know I was sleeping.
Right? And then you start the day thinking, I didn't get enough deep sleep last night, and you're already setting yourself up to feel tired.
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. The nocebo effect, when negative expectations lead to negative outcomes.
So if sleep trackers can potentially cause more harm than good, what should people do instead if they're concerned about their sleep?
If you're genuinely having trouble sleeping, the first step is to talk to a doctor to rule out any medical conditions like sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome.
That makes sense. What about for everyday sleep improvements?
There's a science-backed approach called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBTI, which has been shown to be incredibly effective, even more effective than sleeping pills in the long run.
What does that involve?
It's a structured program that helps you identify and replace thoughts and behaviors that cause or worsen sleep problems with habits that promote sound sleep. No medications required.
That sounds promising. Any quick tips from CBTI that our listeners could try tonight?
Absolutely. One key principle is keeping a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends.
That's tough, but I can see how it would help. What else?
Another important one is only using your bed for sleep and intimacy, not for working, scrolling on your phone, or watching TV. This helps your brain associate your bed with sleep only.
What about when you can't fall asleep? I tend to just lie there checking the clock and getting more frustrated.
That's actually the worst thing you can do. CBTI recommends that if you can't fall asleep within about 20 minutes, get up and do something relaxing in dim light until you feel sleepy again.
So, no more lying in bed for hours, checking the time, and calculating how much sleep I'm losing?
Exactly. That just creates anxiety, which makes sleep even harder.
This has been so helpful, Ben. To summarize what we've learned today, the 8-hour rule isn't a one-size-fits-all requirement, and obsessing over sleep metrics might actually make your sleep worse.
Right. Instead of focusing on numbers, pay attention to how you feel during the day. If you're functioning well and feeling rested, you're probably getting the right amount of sleep for your body.
And if you are having trouble sleeping, trying evidence-based approaches like CBTI is much more effective than stressing about hitting that magic 8-hour mark.
Absolutely. Remember, your body knows how much sleep it needs. Trust your body and how you feel more than what your sleep tracker or the latest health article tells you.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Real Talk English Health Talk. If you enjoyed this conversation about sleep, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.
And let us know in the comments, how many hours do you typically sleep, and have you ever stressed about not getting enough?
Until next time, I'm Alex.
And I'm Ben.